Welcome to the Fish House Nation podcast. We're at the St. Paul Ice Show. This is day 2, and we're walking around. We're checking out some of the beautiful ice houses here at the St. Paul Show, and we're with Beberg Outdoors and Chris Beberg today. Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so people who are not familiar with Beberg Outdoors, tell me what your company's all about.
Yeah, we've been around for about 10 years, and we build ice fish houses. We start typically with like ridgeline aluminum shell systems, and then we set up fish houses that are really focused on how the individual fisherman uses them. And our niche is kind of for the guy that's a sportsman that's going to move around a lot and wants a real effective interior system for how he fishes. We keep things lightweight, we keep them real durable, but a lot of what we're able to deliver for the customer is a different way to tackle the ice in the winter than a bigger RV type system or the portables, where people find that they get beyond where they want to tear down stuff at night in the dark, and it gets hard to repack everything up when it's wet and frozen. So we kind of have an in-between niche that's really fun to work with customers on.
Yeah, the house that we're in right now is super cool, and I was just talking to somebody checking this out. I'm like, what this is a fishing machine is what this is. This is something, like you said, that allows someone who wants to be more mobile but wants to have all their stuff at their fingertips all the time. Tell us about the creation you've got here.
Yeah, this is actually a house that I built for myself, so it's filled with some of the gear that I like to use, and I think it really helps people picture what they can do with their own fish house, and that's where it's kind of fun. This is a 6x10, so it's about a 1,000-pound house after insulation, and then a little bit more as you add your gear, so super light. And one of the things that this can really help people talk about is that combination of what machine do I tow with on the ice, and so matching fish houses to that vehicle is an important part of what we talk a lot about, as well as the number of people fishing and the easy stuff like that. So we bring all that together with your interior systems and functions, with the type of machine you're going to use, with the weight of the house to match that, and it tends to drive you towards a system that guys really have a lot of fun with on the ice, but it's effective.
Yeah, this is a nice thing. Like you said, it weighs about 1,000 pounds. So if somebody doesn't have a big truck or something, maybe they've got an SUV, this is something that's pullable or something like that.
It is, and a lot of it, there's the easy situation on the ice is I can drive my truck out there, the ice is safe, or you're on a lake with infrastructure like Red or, Mille Lacs or something where there's plowed roads. There's just those certain events, certain times of year where that's not, that access isn't there. And our customers are often looking for that other period like that. How do I get a nice warm fish house through the snow across the lake when the conditions aren't conducive for a truck? And I always talk with people, I say, if you're going to take your truck out on the ice, and it's a 6, 7, 8,000 pound truck or so forth, you can really take some bigger fish houses with you because they match up to the tow vehicle, and that works great for that type of event. But our guy that likes this is often saying, hey, I'm going to take my four-wheeler out. Maybe he doesn't want to take a truck on the ice just because it's unsafe in his mind, or maybe he just wants to get where the truck can't go and otherwise would get stuck. And so we create that option for the user to say, tow it with your ATV, tow it with a side-by-side, and then they're more portable, and they can get into some places that the crowd isn't getting to, and that's kind of what's fun, where you can get out there and get away from where everyone's at.
Yeah, who are your customers? Who are the people that say this is right for me? Kind of give us a profile of that.
The majority of the people that buy this system are going to be usually 40 to 60 years old is probably our age demographic. Usually they've had portables. They often tell me about a great portable that they own, and portables have their awesome functions themselves, so nothing to take away from that. But they're often telling me, hey, I'm done packing everything up at night, or I fish with my wife or my kid, and they want a little more warmth and comfort around them. Or I've got grandkids now, and I need to have something that they can move around in, and the portable's got slippery ice underneath it or holes that are close, and so you can drop stuff in them. And so it's usually a functional change that they're looking for in their life and in their fishing that brings them to, hey, I want something hard-sided. But as they look at the RV stuff, they're going to say, but it's either just too much for them. They've got a cabin, they don't sleep in it very often. Our systems are easily built into something a guy can camp in for a night or two, but we don't typically focus on an RV with having kitchenettes and bathrooms and stuff.
Right, and that's kind of when you look at what you guys have here, it's really different from what you're seeing in the show, because really, it seems like people are going to those 22, 23, 24 footers and some of these other brands, and they look like campers inside. And what you guys are doing is something completely different. It looks more like a functional type of thing. The other thing that I'm seeing here in your booth is that you have just kind of some shells.
Sure.
Is that something that people often go with when they buy something from you guys?
We do. We sell a smaller percentage of just shells like that, but we start with a shell for every build. So what we can do is take a customer's interest, and if they like to do some or all of their own interior build with the insulation, the wiring, and those kinds of finishing things we do, they're welcome to do all that. And we work hard to show them all of our things that we do to give them a foundation so they're successful. I'll spend as much time with someone buying a shell as with buying a full finished unit from us, because I love the idea that the buyer can evolve their system over time. And so I want them to be successful with thinking about stuff up front that's helpful, but also knowing how it all goes together so that they can keep, making it like this. This is perfect for me. Probably no other guy is going to fish the same way or set it up the same way, which is cool, but also it tells me, I need to give them the way to make it their own over time. And then they're going to love it, and they're going to really enjoy their fishing experience that way.
You're using Ridgeline trailers. Why did you choose those guys?
We've been with Ridgeline for about 10 years, and I started selling skid houses. We were early on with the first round of aluminum manufactured skid houses as a big dealer for that, and promoted a lot of that mobility and worked a lot with how do you take a skid house on a trailer with a side by side with tracks or an ATV. So I started there, and we came into Ridgeline because we had a lot of people saying, hey, I want my machine inside the fish house, and so can I do that with a skid house? We did some of that, but it's a little bit more challenging on skids with double doors and ramp doors. So we kind of came into saying we need lightweight trailers, and it's really taken over a lot of that skid house approach for the majority of users, is that this lighter weight trailer gives them some functions they like better than just skids. And so Ridgeline, we were building skid houses with them, and they had a trailer line, and we kind of worked together. It's evolved quite a bit over 10 years from where we started with, of course, like every product at the show here. It's all innovation year over year, and it's fun to see.
And we've been talking about that with a lot of people. Even when you have a house like this it looks finished, but none of them are ever finished. You're always tweaking and doing different things. What have you learned over the years in doing this that you're doing different than you were doing when you started?
Well, we've found some different things to certainly strengthen. Fish house users are really hard on stuff, and that's cool. But we've made everything 3 to 4 times the normal engineered strength measurements that we would plan to need. And so we've got stuff that's really bulletproof now, where I think that's been a great evolution in our product. But the funny thing might be the opposite of that question is, what are we doing the same that still works really well too? And I kind of laugh because about 9 or 10 years ago, I was in the same spot in the same show here, and I had this almost same size fish house here. It was just a slight different size. And it was really quick that we moved into bigger stuff and V-fronts, and everything had to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And last year we reintroduced these smaller units, and it's been just a huge hit again, because it's what we're really different at again, is that light and functionality. And so as people were in this industry for the last 10 years have transitioned into wanting more and more and more in their house, they've learned, hey, there's a different side to that coin, and they're liking the small stuff again. So it's kind of fun to see some of what we've improved, and we're always making it better, stronger, nicer, but we're also kind of seeing what makes sense out of this in the real on ice use. What is the guy successful with? What does he love and never sell? What is he happy with for 10, 20 years? And this kind of stuff is really fitting that bill.
That is interesting. And when you walk around the show right now, you see a lot of 24 footers, and then you see a lot of 12 footers. And it seems like the small is coming back, and people are getting the fact that they can really get a lot of function out of the smaller houses. And there's obviously a set of people who want to go camping and do the big stuff.
Absolutely.
But I think for a lot of guys, they're seeing a lot of use in this size of house like we're sitting in right now. So
that RV use of these things is fantastic. There's beautiful stuff here, and if that's a big chunk of your use, it makes great sense. It's a good family system, absolutely. And again, our difference is we're just more sportsman focused. Guys, they use these for utility trailers, hauling stuff in them a lot. That works fantastic, but it's much about fishing and you know, having it where I can sit and I got my holes in a place that actually works for how I jig or dead stick or whatever you're doing. But you can, you know, get that system into it, stay light, move around, and like this is unique here. This trailer we're in, it sits about 11 inches off the ice. So my fishing is different than the portable guy. Portable guy goes out and he might, you know, what they call Swiss cheese, the whole reef or so forth, and drill a bunch of holes, explore those holes. That's been definitely a learning thing that people do now. I do it a little different because I've got all my gear organized around me here. I've got the fish camera set up. I've got all my poles with different rigs on them. I've got the sonars built in here. So I don't have to drag anything out on the ice. So I leave this trailer up. I use an extension on my auger for most of the year, and I can drill in the up position. I can drill holes very fast, check out a spot, and just drive my four-wheeler forward a couple feet, try another edge of it, or go down the reef further, so forth. So I don't actually sit down until I know I'm on fish that I like. And that's kind of a neat way to look at some of these trailers is, I think I've got the best of, the portable guy's drilling outside. He can slush and pull water every which way, and yet I can do that with this guy. But I'm not an RV guy where I've got the weight that I can't move around like the portable guy can. So this in-between has a fishability like that that's a different style, but I've kind of learned to like it where I can move and move and move. Get on a spot, you can work a couple jigs with your sonars down and stuff, but if there's not much there and you want to drop the camera real quick to see what the bottom structure's like, you can do that without having to pull the camera out and the cable's on the ice and everything's frozen and your fingers are wet and cold. So different way to do it, but I think it's working pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people are really going to learn about this type of fishing. And a lot of people with the houses, they think, well, I've got a house, so I'm stationary. But when you see it set up like this and what you have here, like you're able to go mobile, but you're able to leave all your gear out. You're able to drop holes, you drop your sonar down quicker just because everything is out and ready to go and ready to rock for you. So this is a really, like I said, this is a fishing machine that you have here. This is super cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. People react to that. I mean, when people come through the booth or see this at our store, they understand the purpose really quick because it tells that story, I think, where I'm out there to fish. I want to move around. I want gear management thoughtful to how I fish with my own gear, and makes it a good system. And then when they introduce the Grand Kit or so forth, things are put away and off the floor so kids can be kids, and they can run in and out of the sucker all day long and go, play in the snow for 20 minutes, fish for a few, and I see that as a popular aspect of what we can deliver for them.
Yeah, so you talked about a little bit earlier, people are using these to haul their ATVs and everything there. We've got your toy haulers, and that seems to be a really big trend, but the house that we're sitting in right now has the double doors, and it's obvious to know why you would want the drop down, but why would you choose to go with the double doors on a house?
Yeah, the double doors can increase the effectiveness of floor plans quite a bit. That's why they're still very popular over a ramp door. In that we don't have to have a separate service door and a ramp door, creating access on both ends of it where I've got to not have stuff stored on walls and so forth. So a lot of times in our designs people choose that double just because they can get more done in a smaller space, I think. I like the ramp doors. They're definitely fast to load and unload. In this trailer we're in, it's a 6x10, so it's not super big, but I drive a 1,000 2-up ATV with tracks on it, and that fits right in there. This is all designed these two chairs pop out, and that machine can go right in this trailer. That's a lot of machine for a small little box. But to load it, it's just a couple of 3-foot little ramps, and you drive right on in, and unloading, I just actually drive right out in the up position. So the double doors are very effective. They're still very easy to use, good traffic patterns, so it's a nice system still.
Yeah, so that's something I think that maybe some people look past, that even though you don't have the big ramp that's hooked to the trailer, you can use your portable ramp and still use it like a toy hauler even though you've got the double doors.
Right. Yeah, this is matched up for a lot of guys with a ATV with wheels. And one conversation I have regularly is trying to understand from the customer what type of tow machine, as I've said, that they use. And is it an ATV with chains, an ATV with tracks, a side-by-side, same combination of drive machine. And so you're trying to figure all that out to match up this kind of a unit. I see a lot of guys with this being very effective with an ATV with chains. It's definitely one of the greatest machines for light and easy working around on the ice, good traction. And when they're playing with ATVs with chains, we're looking at snow depths of 8 to 12 inches that machine will go through without high centering, of course, depending on hard pack and fluff and slush. But that's kind of the point I try to look at. Break it out in that first 1 foot of snow. If your machine only goes through a foot of snow, let's match a trailer with it, because the trailers easily go through a foot of snow, the same kind of materials. They've got clearance for that, and they tow very well. Plus I've got suspension, which is a benefit over the skid house kind of stuff. So if you're an ATV guy, that's the great way to go. If you add tracks to that equation, especially side-by-sides with tracks, now I can go through, 1.5 to 2.5 feet of snow, heavier, the concrete slush of February and March, and that user's got a different need. We have a lot of these paired with a set of skis for that. And the skis on fish houses definitely, there's a lot of opinions out there. They work, they don't work. And I've done a lot of testing with it, and I've seen for my customers' success as well as my own that skis are very effective on trailers, 2,000 pounds and less, even 2,500 at times and less. Single axle is a big aspect of them working well versus the tandems. So this kind of a house at 1,100 pounds with skis on it behind a Ranger is unstoppable. You got a lot of lift. You're going to keep it out of the slush. That machine's going to keep rolling through about anything. And you just don't want to have a ton of snow drag on your house. And so it's pretty effective to take them that way too.
That's awesome. Chris, it's been good talking to you, and I love that you gave us some time here at the show, and super interesting guy. And is there anything about your company that we didn't talk that you wanted to touch on?
I think this is a very personal business for me. I do all the sales of it. I work with each customer individually. We do about 70 units to 100 units a year. And you can kind of tell, I'm passionate about it. I have a lot of fun, like a lot of the guys here with all their stuff. And that's what it can be. It's going to be a really fun process to learn and figure out what you need and try to get you into the right systems that match for you. There's times I tell guys to grab other products in the marketplace that I know about because ours isn't the right fit for them. And so if you come talk with us, that's a big part of it. We're going to learn, we're going to ask questions, we're going to find out and give you choices of what might be things to think about before we jump into stuff. So that's our approach.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of personalized stuff, which is very cool. Get people set up the way they want to do and how they want to fish and how they want their fish house to work. So.
It's fun. There's good guys in this business. I mean, we're working with customers that are having fun and they're building something that's personal to them. So it's a blast to do this. It's really a joy.
If people want to find more about your company and you, how do they find you?
Bebergoutdoors.com is our website, and we've got a lot of our pictures and gallery stuff on there. YouTube under Beberg is great. You'll find all my videos I've done. We're releasing a bunch more on new stuff this year, so throughout the winter they'll be seeing more stuff coming out.
Awesome. Well, Chris Beberg,
thank you,
thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the show, and thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.